Hey, good morning, folks. My name is Phil. I create role-playing game supplements. We're going to do some artwork today for the Spelljammer Combat and Exploration. I did my intro weird, so give me a second here for me to check my signal. We'll do my intro again, and then we'll get to work here for a bit. So hold on real fast. We'll get to work here for a bit. That is coming through. Emphasis on loud yet clear. Good. So let's see, we're boosting signal here. We're live. We're sounding good. I'm going to fire through my signal boosts across different Discord channels and Twitter. So I do that. Let's do my official intro spiel, which is, hey, my name is Phil Kearney. I create role-playing games. I illustrate them, and then I publish them online. I've been focusing my attention on Dungeons and Dragons for the past 5-ish years. So there is a link, multiple links in the description down below of various works that I've previously produced. On DMsGuild, they all have full previews. So if there's a button that says full preview underneath the product page cover art. If you're on a desktop, you can just click the full preview button. If you're on a tablet, there's an eye icon. You can click on the eye icon. In either case, it kicks open a preview PDF for various works that I have. If you're here for the pixels and artwork, there's probably about 150 illustrations across those books, just those books, in addition to all the other ones that I haven't posted down below. If you're here for Dungeons and Dragons and 5e game mechanics or design, all the books I have in there are meant for both DMs and players, and I run campaigns from level 1 to 20. So I know the stuff that's in those books work at all tiers of play in the game. Check that stuff out. If you think it's cool, consider making a purchase to support the growth of the channel. Otherwise, or in addition, you can follow me on Twitter at Phil Kearney. I always post when I am live on Twitter, as well as posting illustrations that we have produced, like this one that we made earlier this week, the Spiderling fightercraft hunting and hiding among asteroids, the galleon, space galleon that's floating through here. So if you want to see other look-sees and stuff in the future, you're certainly welcome to here at Phil Kearney. Like, subscribe, hit the bell icon, get notification of when I'm live in the future. We are striving to get to 500 subscribers by the end of the year. We're at 220 right now, which is amazing and very much appreciated. I'm streaming 6 days a week, Monday through Friday, as well as on Saturday, and sometimes in the evenings as well. So we're also, where are we at? Episode 235. So you can see this one back at episode 40. So you can check out the playlist to go back towards the front of the list and find when we made this book cover. But so I create role-playing games and I illustrate them. So we take an idea. We play test it. If it works well, we'll type it up, send it off to an editor. They'll clean it up. They then send it back to us, and we put everything into layouts so the text sits pretty on the pages. When we are done with any particular page, let's zoom in on where we're at right now. Combat. So combat page, here's a page of the book. Once it's laid out prettily, we extract it as a PDF. We then drop it here into Photoshop, and we can then start placing illustrations on it. So this is where we're at now. When all these illustrations are done, we pull them back into the Word document. We seal the document into a PDF. We publish it online, and we'll have links for it down below. So stick around, check it out. I also have a Patreon where I have early look-sees and playtest content for upcoming books if you all are interested in that sort of stuff. So, gotten through all that spiel rather thoroughly, we are going to do some, well, first thing I like to do is a little bit of asteroid sketching here, just to do some light line work or coloring things in, depending on what we got going on. Just kind of loosen up a little bit, as it were. And once we're done with that, we're going to switch to the right tools for the job. Hey, if I get to 500 subscribers, I will place all of these different tools that I use on my Facebook for free for people to make use of if they are interested in it. Burp. Ice chisel. Nah, let's go with our normal mountain chisel here. There. So good morning, folks. So this is Friday. I'll stream for probably another 80 minutes or so. I put some time this morning in on what it is that we are doing, and then I'll be offline for the rest of the day. I will be back tomorrow morning in about 27 hours. And we will continue working on the book cover commission. We've finished the landscape for the painting, the environment, and now we're working on the central figure and focus of the piece, which is the abyssal, the abyssal weapon that's emerging from the dimensional portal that it creates. So that'll be fun. That's going to be a lot of fun to illustrate. I'm really looking forward to that tomorrow. So we deal with a lot of size here. Things working at different scales of map because of how big they are. Like it's not really practical under normal circumstances to have a 200-foot long ship conduct battle at the 5-foot scale as normal D&D would, which is why so much attention on Wizards of the Coast is placed on closing distance and having characters fight on the deck of the ships instead of bothering with any kind of detailed 5e combat for ships itself. They, if you want to use ship combat, Wizards suggests that you defer to the boat rules that they already have for normal boats in the book that they published, Saltmarsh, Ghosts of Saltmarsh, which is nautical combat. I like this song a lot. Go ahead and get inside of here. That is that suggestion for using nautical combat for Spelljammer is the bare minimum and insufficient for most people that were really looking forward to some sort of WotC-defined aerial space sort of combat, which is not what Wizards of the Coast does with role-playing games. They don't strive to add rules to the game. They strive to make things work without having to introduce new rules at all. And if they need to introduce new rules, they do the bare minimum necessary to get the point across, because their philosophy is stick with the core rules and modify them if necessary for you to conduct your game. But when possible, just fall back on the same rules that are already in the game. And that's certainly that helps minimize the amount of books beyond the core rule books that somebody has to have to be able to play the game. So in that sense, they are reducing necessity for book, because if there was like solid rules scattered throughout all the books, then people would get frustrated and would complain that they have to purchase book after book after book to get the rules that aren't being added to the OGL, SRD, or whatever. So it's like Wizards is damned if they do and they're damned if they don't, honestly. And it's very, very difficult needle to thread. But if you do take space combat like very seriously and attempt to remain faithful to what 5e combat in Dungeons and Dragons is for characters at the 5-foot scale. You end up with a 30-page section about combat specifically. The action economy you can take during a round of combat, the movement you can make during a round of combat, like how like opportunity attacks, reach, range, all of that stuff, how just basic combat attacking things work, like what's your attack rolls, what's armor class involved, how does cover affect things, and then you also have to worry about spell casting. How does spell casting work? Like these take up that, and then like just the basic pillar of exploration of like overland movement, daily activity, distance you can move during a day. This is the exploration chapter of the Player's Handbook. And you tack all that stuff together in the Player's Handbook and the DMG. That's like about 80 pages, not even counting the spell lists. It's about 80 pages worth of content because it's the bulk of what the role-playing game is. Combat, exploration, and spellcasting. It's like a big chunk of what 5e Player Handbook core mechanics are, as well as all the supplemental stuff that's in the DMG. So I can't blame them for not having a quick, easy solution for taking all of what 5e gameplay is at the 5-foot scale and figuring out how to make it work at the 50-foot scale, 500-foot scale, and then 1 or more miles in scale from there. So it's a big ask for them to create something that's going to be highly profitable for what is probably a niche audience, which is where third-party content producers like me come through. I don't expect to make $1 million off of this book, but there is a niche of people that are playing Spelljammer very faithfully, and that is to say, it is their preferred campaign setting, and 5e has not provided sufficient rules for them to make their own rulings about how to conduct campaigns in Spelljammer using 5e. So they provided enough to get through a taste of what Spelljammer is, but that taste implies a meal, and they will not be providing one for you. So there are various options and different role-playing games and 5e adjacent supplements that can offer you mass space combat, ship combat, various rules like that, but none of them, I will say this, very few of them are actually attempting to use 5e mechanics throughout the entire piece as faithfully as Wizards of the Coast diligently attempts to use 5e mechanics to express their own game. So we did a lot of work here to make sure that this book is as close to 5e combat as possible, considering the scale of activity that's involved. And when we don't have a specific rule to help you, there are plenty of rules in here that you can use to make logical, consistent rulings to help define what you think space physics should be for your campaign. Based on this or any other works that you think are really cool, there's pieces in here that are going to help you frame how Wild Space and the Astral Sea work for a 5e game, specifically using 5e mechanics. So, it'll also be a full free preview when it gets published on DMsGuild, but it also has about 70 some odd tokens and like 8 maps. If you're if like you want to play Light of Zaraxis, but you want more crunch to how it is conducted, or you have some questions about, some of the plot points in it, there's a 20-page adventure guide at the end of this in the second appendix that uses all the mechanics that we have in this book and shows you how to apply them by using Light of Zaraxis as an example. So when I build a system, I not only like to offer interesting mechanics that you can use, but I like to also provide examples of how those mechanics can be used. Instead of just offering you, hey, here's something you can spend money on and put on your shelf. It's like, no, if you're serious about playing a game, here's all this stuff that you need to do it. So hopefully that adds value to people when it gets out there. There's that. All right, cool. So we're making rocks. We're making rocks here. Add this one in here like that. I think I'm just about done messing around with asteroids for the morning. I've got a timer going off here in a few minutes, so I'll call this first 20-minute burst a warm up, and then we'll get into the actual meat of the illustration with the ships and the weapons and the crew and yada yada and all the blah blah blah. I'm excited. It's a great book. It's going to be really, really super when it's finally done. It's out there, and there's so much more that we can do with this book than what we just have in here. So I'm looking forward to taking my taking time to build out additional pieces in the future. It's gonna be fun. Go like this. I feel like I want to. I feel like I'm supposed to do this. So I'm going to grab these things and pull that away a bit. And do that. Something like that. Very good. Thank you, Timely Timer. All right, take a sip of coffee. We're going to fill in that gap that we created right there real quick. Hold on. Kind of like that. Carve that in the shape. There we go. Scratch that into position, and then we'll be done with this. And we'll move on to the other stuff. Just want to scratch that in a bit. Just those aren't done, obviously, but we're getting things lined up here. So we're gonna close up the asteroids for now. Let's get into the spiderling again and see where that leads us, shall we? I think we shall. So let's pull up in our reference document here. We get the spiderlings that we built yesterday or the day before here as our reference point. So let's grab that color palette. This is all frame here and here is the sketch that we had before. So let's go with whole. Yeah, okay, I can see what you're trying to do there, buddy. Let's switch back to our round brush. Round brush. Cloud chalk. There. Here. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Reference. Spiderling. Clear that stuff out of the way. Spiderlings. And then let's go find our night spider. We'll get to that eventually. Yeah. Just being in a forward position like this is appropriate. That's about where it's supposed to be. Let's have a little more control there. Put that there. That goes about like that. And now we'll need to have this one. How's this legs doing? Also forward oriented in general. Now if I were to have claws out like this, you can have legs like here. Have What's that ratio like? Okay. Do that. Yeah, so that's not completely off base. Here, and then this is more like far out do these legs extend? Not very far. Here. How far does that leg joint go? Like that. Something like that. How far does that go? Okay. Probably do something like that. I see this little ribbon going on here. Boom. Boom. Something like that. Yeah, something like that. So that's cool. Let's keep on. Now that we have some legs in place, pull those aside, and let's keep working on the hole. So the main source of light in this place is coming off from the right-hand side of the page. So let's go back over to here, right and top-ish. So that is looking pretty right as far as a source of light. Looking right for a source of light. Wherever you want, buddy. Yeah, let's do that. It's gonna look a little organic and chitiny, a little rough texture. And we'll get it feeling more metallic eventually, but for now, just want to make sure we have the right amount of lighting for the material. Not much difference there between the color of the spider and the rocks. That's probably a good thing. That's feeling pretty good. Make darker. A little back sheen there, secondary light source to help break up the dark a bit. Like that. And then underneath that, pull this aside a bit. Thank you, timer. Keep ourselves in focus. It's 7:12 here. We still got 40 minutes ahead of us. Got some sleep in tonight, last night. I am happy about that. It's nice to get sleep. Very nicely. And one more piece like that. Boy, I'm really leaning into this. Here we go. Let's do over here. Still looking a little rough here, buddy. Let's keep moving into here. Merge that all down. So this will be, yeah, the whole, and then let's place this on top of it. I like how this is coming along here. I like this trim. The hole is still janky as hell, but I do like that separator, that line of separation there. It feels very right. So far, so good. also so far so good. I want to fuck around with this hole a little bit more. It's just where the muse wants me to go. She wants me to smooth this all in. Just make it nice and not polished, but less rough. I don't want it too smooth though. It's not like they spend a lot of time polishing these things. And they are hiding in an asteroid field, so they get dinged up at least a little bit. Carve that away like that with an eraser. Good. I can see now why she wants me to smooth this out. That makes sense. That looks pretty good. I like that lighting effect. It's nice. Let's put another layer on top of that. I need to put those fairings in here sometime soon and start thinking about how the legs are going to interact with the light that's reflecting on this hole. But that's a good place to be. I like that curve. God, that fits so nicely. Hey. Intergalactic meow? I missed my text. Hey Dennis. Intergalactic toilet. This is the base frame for the Spiderling craft that we have. So yeah, we're just going through the process. I can see the bull-like effect that you're speaking of. Yes, I'm sure it must be absolutely shit working for these dudes, considering that they just enslave humanoids to punch up. Like, why is this guy just staring off into space, looking off in this direction? And why is this guy also just staring off into space? Because they're hypnotized. Because what a Neogi will do is, do you know what Neogi are? Hold on. Let's go into Spelljammer, production, tokens, NPCs. Wait for this thing to fire up. Take a sip of coffee while we do. I'll have another 20 minutes after my alarm pops here in a few minutes. But this is a fun conversation topic that was on the Spelljammer Discord yesterday. We were talking about Neogi, the Neogi crew. So it just happens to be a very large document that I'm trying to open up on top of another very large document. So there we go. Let's get into. No, they aren't here. Let's go to here, and then not here. Here we go. Nope. There we go. Neogi. So these are Neogi, right? They tend to ride on the back of Umber Hulks, and but Neogi have a charm effect that they, if you fail your wisdom save, basically they charm you. You do as they say, and so what they'll do is they'll enslave a bunch of humanoids with their nimble limbs. Let's see. Yeah, they'll use. So they'll enslave these guys, and I love the artwork that I did for these tokens. It's super fun. There, and the Neogi and the Dozy crewmen. These are all tokens that are included with the box, with the supplement that we're building right now. It's a zip file of like 72 tokens and some like 8 maps. But Neogi, right? So Neogi are small size little monsters. with mind control. Do not say with mind control capability. So they will pilot. So the Spelljammer helm, when you're focusing on the helm, it gives you perspective, and you can a point of view from anywhere inside or outside the ship that you want to orient your position from. So while a Neogi is on the chair, if somebody starts to wake up from control, the Neogi can use its mind control ability from the chair to target anybody that's within its sphere of influence here. So it can keep crew suppressed and submissive to or obey commands. And the way that the command system works with weapon systems is there's a siege commander that here. Let's go back to here and take a look at our action economy. I think it's worth taking a tangent, so we'll take a quick tangent here. All right, so looking at crew options, if you have a Neogi that's flying the ship in the interior, safe from harm, and leaving the humanoids to be out on the deck taking potential damage on behalf of the team, the Neogi in its chair here, it can see everywhere, it can charm any of its particular characters, and it also has the vantage point. Since it can see anywhere and everywhere on and around its ship, it can issue commands to the crew that it can see. There's a messenger, like a PA system built into the chairs, like kind of like messenger stones, but it just basically it can project its commands anywhere inside of the ship. Telekinesis, telepathy gets extended throughout the range of the ship as well. Like flumps, like if a flump is piloting a ship, it can use its telepathy to communicate with anybody that's aboard the ship that it can perceive while it's in the helm. Similar with the Neogi. So the way that action economy works here, a Neogi would be the pilot as well as the siege commander, and if there's multiple ships working together, one of them can take command in the role of the squadron commander to issue commands for both of the ships to follow together. Even though it's actually piloting one of them, the action economy to like move a group of ships is an object interaction, the same as it would be to pilot the stick for a single ship. So the action economy is the same whether you're moving one or multiple ships. It's just a matter of a verbal command of taking taking command and responsibility for the ships that you are moving and issuing commands to. So the Neogi could, as a pilot, move its ship and make attacks with its piercing rams, which are basically just massive spears that do like, was it D8, D2D8, 3D8, 4D8. So this would be this weapon, this leg. If it were to stab through this character, it would do 4D8 damage per attack. If the object is large enough for it to if it's the same size or larger than the ship itself, then it could grab hold, like it could hold on to or grapple whatever it's interacting with, depending on how. If it's significantly larger, then it can only hold on to it. If it's about the same size, it can grapple it. So it has all these grappling legs that it can use to grab hold of things, stab things, and also just move around as a land speed. So the pilot, using its action economy, can move the ship, or as a squadron commander can move both ships together, move squadron or move ship. It could also take the hide action here as a pilot, but each individual pilot is responsible for hiding themselves. So there's that action economy between the two ships. Siege commander can issue a command to make an attack, and you can do a ranged attack per ship attack as a siege commander. As a squadron commander, you can attack a ship, multiple ships to attack with ranged weapons if available, or melee weapons if available. Like you could have a squadron commander have both of these ships tackle the same ship at the same time, which we're seeing here. There's a night spider, a 200-foot night spider lurking around in the background. So if this ship has an orrery and message system, like sending stones linked between these two ships, or say 3 ships, then this Night Spider would be able to command them from afar, even miles or thousands of miles away, if they maintain communication. This can coordinate the actions of these smaller crafts as a siege commander itself. These ships would then submit control to the Night Spider that's really like the head pirate aboard the Night Spider ship. And it can coordinate actions as a siege commander back here, having both of these ships act together. Or each of those ships can break off control and act independently as their own craft at any time. So the pilot can move the ship, can hide the ship, and then could use its attack actions to issue its its siege crews to attack from the top of the deck. Or it could use its attacks to make melee attacks with the ship's weapon. Or if like it has like 2 attacks, it can make one attack with melee weapons and the other attack either with melee weapons or have the siege crews firing weapons. Or it could use an attack action to have both of the ships make attack actions. So there's a lot of different ways of action economy, but the difficulty of it's no more difficult to hit a target with 3 ships as a squadron commander as it is to hit with a single with a bow and arrow if you were to fire at it yourself personally or issue a weapon crew to make a single attack. The armor class is the same, the attacks are the same. It's just a matter of, the issue is the more creatures or ships that you control with one attack, the more likely it is that you're going to have to spend extra action economy to reload. If your command die, your proficiency die that you use as part of your attack action, if it doesn't equal or exceed the squadron's or the group's reload score, then you have to spend either a reaction or a bonus action, either reactions or additional attacks to reload weapons. So, for example, if you have 1 ship and 2 ships and you command both of them to attack, they'll do together. They'll do say D4, like D4 times 10 damage overall, or 44 from this ship and 44 from this ship for a total of 80. For 8d8 damage, or like say a d6 times damage, depending on what weapons are being used. The damage roll will be different. But this ship has a reload score, like the entire ship, if it were to make an attack together as a command. That ship itself it's 8 squares. That's going to be 4. It's going to have its width in 5-foot squares divided by 2 equals 4. So on a command die, you have to roll 4 or higher to make this ship attack again, and both of them have a score of 4. So if you have both of them attack together, the reload score is 8. A 5th level character rolls a 6-sided proficiency die, so it's guaranteed to fail a reload score of 8 because a 6-sided die can't hit an 8. That means that each ship can be commanded separately from therein. I could then use a reload score, a reload action, or a reaction to automatically reload weapons to attack again, so I could then use my reaction to get this ship up and running. But since my command die was commanding both of these ships, this one's recovered, this one's not. So now I have to use an action to use the reload action, an attack to use the reload action. So if I have 2 attacks, I can have both ships attack. If I succeed with my reload roll, then they both can attack again with the next attack action immediately. If they fail the roll, then I have to reset both ships separately. So this ship and this ship coordinate their actions, which can be done with a reaction to reload one ship, and then another attack to reload the other ship. Now that both of those ships are oriented, I can use a bonus action to attack again. So all weapons fire, you get reloaded, you get reloaded. We're both reloaded, all ships attack again. Or I can just have one individual ship in the squadron make a single attack with a reload score of 4, which I'd have to roll a 4, 5, or 6 on a 6-sided die as a 5th level character. At 9th level, I roll a d8. At 13th level, I roll a d10. At 17th level, I roll a d12. At d12, I've got a decent chance of being able to command both of these ships together and never waste any action economy on them taking further actions. Attack, 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 attack. And like if I'm a 20th level fighter with 4 extra, like I have 4 attacks per attack action, and I still have my bonus action I can attack with, and I have my reaction I can reload with. it's possible for like a 17th level character throwing a D12 together can make an attack, succeed the roll, attack again, succeed that the roll, attack again. If they botch that roll, then they can use their reaction to, like, say, get this ship back up and running only, and then use their bonus action to have this ship attack. And then the next round, you could get both of the ships reoriented so that you could have them both attack again. Or you can continue to have them attack separately. Or at that point, maybe you're on deck and you're going to get off of your ship and you're going to run under deck to take out the pilot so that you aren't actually issuing commands at all the next round because you're already on deck making melee attacks at the 5-foot scale. So you can have a coordinated effort, or you can break up your action economy amongst different ships. If you know you're not going to be able to succeed a command die check, you might decide to have both of these ships make a volley of attacks together, knowing full well that you're not going to succeed the reload check. So then somebody else on your team can use a support action to help reload. So they could use their own action. Like if you've got like 4 people on your team, one of them could be a support character, or everybody on the team could use the support options to use their reaction to help reload weapons or other ships under your command. So between 2 characters, you have 2 reactions, 2 bonus actions, and however many attacks they can get out as their action. If they're both 5th level fighters, that's 2 attacks, a bonus. You've got 2 attacks each, so that's a total of 4 attacks, 2 bonus actions, and 2 reactions that your team of fighters can use together to coordinate the actions of your ships to make sure that you're firing efficiently as a group activity. But then you could have one character controlling one ship and another character controlling another ship as commanders, or you could have them working in tandem together for both of these ships to issue commands together as a team. Like one person doing attack, and then use a reaction here to reload this one. The other character uses the reaction to reload this one, and then that second character can make an attack action again, or a bonus action like attack, reload, bonus action, attack, reload, bonus action, attack, and then reaction to reload. So you can break up your action economy as a team depending on what roles and what actions that your team wants to take. If it sounds complicated, it's just think of it at like your normal characters when they're using their action economy. Instead of swinging a sword or firing an arrow, they are representing the entire ship as though the ship is a creature. And everybody that wants to contribute their actions as a team gives that creature added action economy, kind of like a creature has legendary actions that they can take multiple turns during the round. Your character's action economy becomes that legendary action that the ship can take. So as an NPC, you can have multiple characters making commands across the deck of a ship. So when you're attacking, when your team is fighting another ship, it's going to have legendary actions that it can take and legendary reactions that it can take to reload weapons itself. So it can attack a single ship that your team is fighting, can have the same amount of action economy that a team of 4 characters have, issuing commands to crew and moving the ship around themselves. So a single ship can have as much action economy or as little action economy as a whole, like a room full of orcs, or as a single orc, depending on how many creatures are available to make commands on a ship, and how much of a challenge the DM wants to make ship-to-ship combat for your characters at any given time. So, like having 2 commanders on an enemy ship is almost as dangerous as fighting 2 creatures in a dungeon versus 1 creature in a dungeon, 1 commander on a ship. So in that sense, the experience points that you gain when you're fighting ships is determined by the crew that are commanding the actions of the ship, not the ships themselves. So an orc is like a CR1 creature, and it's going to have 1 attack, it's going to have a reaction, and the DM can decide if it has a bonus action or not. But that single orc is going to be significantly out action economied than a team of 1st level characters that are fighting that orc's ship. That orc can only have 1 movement, can only make 1 attack, and has 1 reaction. So like it's going to be able to attack with its ship once, move it, reload weapons, wait the next round. That's all your orc did. That orc ship is done. Now your team is on its ship and it's making 1, 2, 3 attacks. It's moving. It's got 3 or 4 reactions and it has bonus actions because that's the team's action economy being expressed through the ship. Anyway, I've ranted enough about that and I've almost destroyed all my time. So I'm going to get back to work here, but I fucking love this stuff. It's super fun. So I just want to take that quick little tangent there to kind of walk through the action economy there. And of course, when this thing publishes, for people that care and are interested in the rules, they can check it out. And if they think it's worth it, then hopefully people will make a purchase. We have our rough legs. So that's roughly, I feel like I want to change the orientation of that leg. Something like that. Oh, that foreshortening is useful. Great, let's do that. Let's take that leg. Let's grab Spiderling. Nope. I'll lift that up. Let me pull that in a little bit so it's in front of. I want to have, good point. I want the ship in front of the Spiderling. There we go. So if I position the Spiderling right, I have the ballista in front of the legs, and I have the legs in front of that back rock there. So I'm helping place this thing in perspective by doing overlapping to show perspective. And I don't want it to get too large because once we put the ballista here on deck there, we'll see that this ballista is significantly smaller on deck here than the ballista that the team is using here. So that helps further reinforce perspective. Is that the right angle? You know what? I bet I can figure it out like this. Not quite. Let's first off make that a touch bigger, and then let's skew. So it's like that. Is that the right place? That's not quite the right place. Let's rotate. Probably. Twist it just a little bit more. There we go. There we go. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. Let's take what we don't have is we need a little bit more perspective here. But I think I'm going to finish, copy paste, adding these in before I shift the perspective again. I'm going to put these in a separate folder. Put those in a separate folder. Bup, bup, bup. I can now toss this into the trash. Thank you, timer. Timer's telling me my days. I said thank you, timer. Time is good. Good. Let's go back down to bup, bup, bup. I got a few minutes left. I can sort this thing out at least, and then we'll cut for the day. Save. There. Now I want to very lightly adjust the perspective. So give me a second here to just like, yeah, very subtle. Basically like that. Now we can merge these down. And erase. There. And then we'll be able to drop a weapon on top of the deck there. Debating whether I should have a window here or not. You don't need one. This is where the helm is at. And when you're piloting the helm, you don't need to see. You magically can see all around you anyway. You don't need a window to see outside. You do need a door to get outside. So I think I'm going to get rid of the window. We're going to keep the door. There we go. That's proper. All right, cool. So then we'll come back and we'll put a weapon on the deck. So we'll get the ballista to go. We have the paneling up top here. We have decals to add on. We won't be able to see the back loading door there, but we'll have weapon crew here, mounted harpoon flinger top deck here, unmounted, probably an unused weapon back here, or maybe somebody looking forward. But we have front weapon, back front harpoon flinger, back harpoon flinger, front ballista, and then we'll do our legs, and then we'll be done. So this shouldn't be that difficult for us to finish processing this. And so when we do, flip, and we also have the ballista icon here up at combat. And if you go down here, you know you're in the combat chapter because the ballista icon will be highlighted. Similarly, when you're in a spellcasting chapter, the spellcasting icon will be highlighted. The ships and equipment section, when you're in that section, that gets highlighted. This is the table of content. So when this thing's built out into a PDF, when you click on this, like if I was in any other chapter and I were to click on the combat chapter, it would click and the icon would change from this, it would invert to this, and clicking on that automatically takes you to the front page here in combat here. So just a little navigation tool that we can build inside of the PDF just using simple hyperlinks and images. So it's fun to build it. I won't bore people with the details that go on behind it too much. I'll show, but I just have to basically string up a rig, a transparent sheet, like a template that I drop onto each page of the Word document. Once this is done, I'll take like you can see this transparency, that's this table. I can make a similar object that runs the bottom here, and then this is faded because it's a watermark, basically background. That's basically burned into the background of the image. But when it actually prints as when you publish as a PDF, it has the same richness here that we have. So you'll have this amount of opacity. It'll have full opacity like this. But you can see here, like here's the inversion of the ballista, and there you go. So that's how that works. So we'll screen up, and then we'll make invisible buttons, basically like little boxes like this. And those boxes, instead of having text and a table inside of it, instead it would have a hyperlink that when you click on that invisible button that's overlaying these, it takes you to the location of choice inside of the document. It's a self-hyperlinking document. It'll take you to here. Kind of like how a table of content works. And that's what we have here, the table of content button here. Which will take you all the way back to the very beginning of the document. And then all of these different topics are hyperlinkable to their sections. Maintaining ship crew, commanding fleets, squadron properties, ranged ship weapons, pilot role, the different roles here, blending roles and scales of combat. These are all the different things specifically pointing out for people to take advantage of. Amplifying spells, modifying amplified spells, colliding objects, tactical movement, travel time in the astral sea, astral tracking, traveling the astral sea, mapping between worlds, ship hazards like fires, foul air, infestations, morale, wild storms, creature menagerie, all that stuff. So all hyperlinked. Don't save. Anyway, that's today. We're done. I gotta bounce out of here. When we come back, I'll be back tomorrow in the morning in about 25 hours for me to work on the book cover commission for the Underdark adventure that I got recruited by Andy the Old Goat Headley and Brian Holmes. And then we'll be back on Monday to continue this, and then I'll have a slew of time off camera over the weekend that I'll keep pushing things forward so that we're making progress despite what you guys get to see or not on camera. So if you think this stuff is fun, check it out, stick around, like, subscribe, hit the bell icon, and I hope to see everybody here on the other side. So have a great day.